Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. We're just going to give it a couple minutes for a few more people to join, and then we will dive in. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar, Leverage BIM Collaborate Pro to optimize your Revit designs. A few items first. If you have any questions during the webinar, please type them into the questions box in your GoToWebinar panel, and we will answer them at the end of the presentation. Also, a recording of this webinar will be distributed and posted to our YouTube channel for on-demand viewing. Before we jump into the webinar, I want to introduce Microdesk to you all. Microdesk was founded in 1994 as an Autodesk reseller with a simple mission: to assist architecture, engineering, construction owners, and GIS firms with improving workflows and integrating project delivery technologies. 25 years later, and that mission still holds true. Microdesk is a well-established AECO consulting firm with 13 offices in the US and UK. We have over 230 AECO consultants, solution specialists, and software developers that can help in all sectors, all disciplines, and all stages. Some of the hottest topics in the AECO world are globalization, urbanization, and sustainability. Urbanization studies suggest that the US will build 114 cities the size of Boston in the next 30 years. Here at Microdesk, we can help to make sure you are prepared to meet these demands. We use software from industry leaders and combine it with our vision and passion for sustainably meeting the demands of urbanization. Our team of industry expert consultants are redefining project delivery and asset management. We're committed to helping clients realize the business benefits of BIM quickly and economically by facilitating the use of innovative technologies and processes. Whether it's streamlining your design, construction, or operations, our consulting team is the nation's largest and most experienced group of AECO technology consulting professionals. Microdesk clients represent some of the nation's largest and most respected organizations and public agencies, including the Port Authority of New York, New Jersey, Denver Airport, Robert A.M. Stern, and Columbia University. We partner with world leaders such as Autodesk and IBM to utilize innovative technologies and methodologies to empower sustainable design and overcome local challenges. Our vision is to reduce the environmental impact of urbanization by helping the AECO industry to design, construct, and operate better projects more efficiently by leveraging the full potential of BIM, VDC, and asset management. To help support the industry with these demands of urbanization, we provide full service consulting. This includes building information modeling services, enterprise strategy and workflow assessments, technology management, mentoring and support, application development, and much, much more. And now I'd like to present Architectural Solution Specialist, David Amaya Gonzalez.
Yes, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today at the webinar. I will be your presenter today. Just to talk a bit about myself. I'm David Amaya Gonzalez. I am a BIM consultant for Microdesk with over 10 years experience working on the AEC industry. I am technology enthusiast-driven person, so anything related with technology, I will be looking into it. And I rather to solve problems rather than creating if I can. So that's something I like to do. And I know a bit about design automation, BIM asset management, standards, content creation, extended reality, VR, AR. That's what I'm trying my clients to help them with. So on today's agenda, we're gonna talk about BIM Collaborate Pro. We're gonna go through how to set up a project and getting started, how the integration with Revit Cloud we're sharing. Also, because we are doing the webinar today from the UK, we're going to talk about a bit of ISO 19650 integration. and how that works with the BIM 360 and unified platform. Also regarding design collaboration, about team swim lines, and class detection in the cloud directly from model coordination, and others new workflows within the unified platform. Also, as Melissa said, we have a Q&A at the end of the webinar, so I will be more than happy to answer all the questions. I'm just gonna run a few polls, and so if you can just please answer them, I'm gonna launch it now. I can see, yeah, we've got a lot of architects and BIM managers today. That's great to hear. See. Okay. Just gonna launch another one. Are you currently using BIM 360 on the AEC services? Yeah, I got a lot of yeses. Yeah, that's very good. Just giving a bit more, couple of seconds. Okay, with about 90-10. That's great to hear. Okay, the last one. Are you currently using cloud or mobile tools? Okay, it's more like a 50-50. Perfect. Okay, so let me just go back to our slide. Okay, so if we jump into what we're going to talk today. Okay, so the first thing to talk about today is the main difference between the current BIM 360 platform and the Unify. If you are already using BIM 360 products, you will be really familiar with this slide. So as you can see, we got our docs management, which is BIM 360 docs. Then we will have BIM 360 coordinate, BIM 360 design, and BIM 360 build. Also, if you have even worked before that, which we are doing this for a long time, you have the classic products. So BIM 360 coordinate used to be known as a BIM 360 glue. The same for BIM 360 design used to work as a collaboration from Revit or BIM 360 teams. And BIM 360 build, it was known as a BIM 360 field. So yeah, a lot of names, right? Now with the unified platform, what Autodesk is trying to do is put together all the same tools in a more better way, so people understand it easily. So the best and easy way to explain is comparing to one to another. So for BIM 360 docs, with the unified platform, we'll be talking about Autodesk docs. For coordinate, we'll be talking about Autodesk BIM Collaborate, BIM 360 design, Autodesk BIM Collaborate Pro, BIM 360 build will be Autodesk build, and now with the new unified platform, we also have Autodesk Takeoff. So Autodesk Takeoff is only part of the unified platform, the one we're going to talk today. And today, we're going to focus on Autodesk BIM Collaborate Pro. So as a summarize, if now with Autodesk DOS, Autodesk BIM Collaborate, and Autodesk BIM Collaborate Pro, so essentially Autodesk BIM Collaborate Pro is working as an umbrella for these other two. So before, for example, if you have a model coordination and design collaboration, you will need to get those separately. Now with Autodesk BIM Collaborate Pro, you will also get the model coordination module, and the same for Autodesk Docs. Because the thing with Autodesk Doc is that you will need that module in order to use any of the others. So essentially, with Autodesk BIM Collaborate Pro, we will have BIM Collaborate and Autodesk Docs. So yeah, so what can I do with the Autodesk Construction Cloud Unified Platform? As I said before, we will focus on the Autodesk BIM Collaborate Pro today. So that will be coordination and design collaboration plus Autodesk Docs. So that's kind of the easy answer. What is exactly Autodesk BIM Collaborate Pro? So yes, it's no more than coordination, design collaboration, and Autodesk Docs. There's a few things that has changed comparing with the previous platform. So for example, now with, one second. Now with coordination and design collaboration, we also got meeting minutes. So previously, if you want to get meeting minutes, you need to get it inside Autodesk build. Now it's also included as part of the coordination and design collaboration package, which for me, it completely makes sense. If you're working in a coordination and collaboration way, you will need to have some kind of meeting minutes inside your common data environment, inside your CDE, rather than using the meeting minutes with external software. So I think it's a great tool that it could be used for inside our CDE. So Autodesk BIM Collaborate Pro. So what does it work with? So today we're gonna focus about Revit, obviously, and Revit Guide. But the truth is that this tool, Collaborate Pro, also works with Autodesk Plan 3D and Civils 3D. So in order to use it with Revit, you will need to use a 2018.3 version or newer. For Autodesk Plan 3D, it will need to be 2021 or newer. And for Civils 3D, it has to be 2020.2. So in summary, what can I get with Autodesk BIM Collaborate Pro? So essentially, if you are using BIM Collaborate Pro, you are going to use Docs, which it will be hosting all your files, models. So things as Docs as a type of Dropbox, G Drive, something like that. Then you will also using Revit Cloud Work Sharing, which is inside of Design Collaboration. And Revit Cloud Work Sharing will allow you to collaborate either with your internal teams and also another consultant inside that project. In Design Collaboration, we'll be able to create package and review it with another teams, rather internal and external. And model coordination, we're gonna take the class detection process into our cloud, so we'll be able to create class detection directly in our BIM 360 platform. If, for example, if we are not using Navisworks. So if we jump right into the live demo today, so easy way to create a project. So you will go into your account admin. Just a matter of go ahead here, create a project, put the project name, an account, the typical stuff you would typically do if you're familiar with the BIM 360, no much changes there. And then you just create a project and cancel. Just a couple of things here. If you create a project, you won't be able, so Autodesk doesn't give us the option at the moment to delete the project. So you can archive that project if you want to, but you won't be able to delete it. That's something to be aware of. I think it's quite important. Also, because now we got two platforms, so we got BIM 360, which is the current one, and the unified platform, which is the one we're showing now. You need to make sure which platform you want to use to create a project, because after that, you won't be able to move it from one to another. A good way to know in which platform you create a project is we go here on types. You can see a B. So that means that project was created on BIM 360. So we can see it here. But if we go into that will take us to the current platform. So even if it was previously there, as you can see, it will take you directly to the BIM 360 platform itself. And if you can see here, like a football, like some kind of football, that means it's been created in the unified platform. So again, we cannot delete projects and we cannot move projects from one to another at this moment of time. If for some reason you need to do this process of moving from one to another, the only way, it's kind of like a manual way, you will need to download the projects from one platform and upload them into the other one. Obviously, this will come with some issues. So you will be losing all the versioning that you have applied into your models. You will be losing all your issues if you have been using issues, etc. So it's something to keep in mind. After we create our project, we'll be jumping into the member page. So if I go again to my live project, so we'll be jumping into this page, and here's where we'll be adding all our members. Quite similar again to the previous platform. It's a couple of different that we'll be mentioning in a second. So how we add the members, simply hit the add members button. You will need to add the email of that person and add the company, the role, if it's a project member or an admin, and add which service that person is going to use for that project. You're going to use docs, inside, design collaboration, model coordination, etc. After that, we can also review if we want to. So if we click on it, here's where we can see which company that person belongs to, the role, the level, and also the products here. This box here is quite important if we are the person who is setting up the permission for our projects, and that will need to come to the next slide. And the question is how the license works. So I'm going to explain you the difference between the current platform and the new platform, because this is a question I get a lot. So for the current BIM 360 platform, all of the licensing majority are hub assigned. The only one which is not is the design module. So what that means? That means that if you go into a project, you will need to bring only the design license. Everything else, it should be given to you by the project admin. That changed in the unified platform. So in the unified platform, everything is bring you on. So what that means? So kind of the opposite, isn't it? So that means that you will need to bring as a project member all the license for that project. So it doesn't matter if the admin person have 20 docs license, because you will need to bring your own. So if we jump back into our live model, the live project, sorry. So here you can see I have switched on for Darren, docs, inside, design collaboration, and model coordination. I only tell the platform that Darren can access those services. But if Darren doesn't bring, for example, the design collaboration license, he won't be able to access. So that, another question that I go a lot, that opens, let's go back to my presentation. That opens a big debate. So I got this question a lot, like, David, which platform should I use? Is BIM 360 better, unified platform better? Well, my answer will be that depends. If, for example, if you are an owner, I would recommend to use the unified platform. Why is that? Well, simply because you won't be able to pay for all those licenses, because everyone will need to bring their own. If you are an owner and you work in a BIM 360 project, you will need to pay for docs, you will need to pay for coordinate, you will need to pay for build. So here's where you can see the difference. And again, as I mentioned before, all these two platforms are planning to live together for at least 2 years. So it's a decision that needs to happen at the very beginning of the project and how that's going to affect the project. Then we're going to jump, after we create our project and add our members, we're going to go into docs, which is our repository module. Here's where we're going to upload all our models. We're going to create our teams, our folders. And again, because we are doing this webinar from the UK today, we're going to talk a bit about ISO 19660. Again, we will need a whole webinar only to talk about this, but we can make a few good comments. So as you can see here, I have created my working projects folder, share, publish, and archive. And inside of that, for example, in the architect folder, work in progress folder, I already have create the central model for that discipline. The same for structure. And what we're gonna do today, just to demonstrate real quick, is how to set up the ISO naming convention for this project. So the way to do it is inside Docs, on the right-hand side, we'll go to Settings and Naming Standards. By default, the unified platform will give us the ISO 19650 as a main standard. We'll be able to change that, but typically, at least here in the UK, that's the convention and the standards that we use. As you can see here, after we apply this method, we have all the naming convention container parameters. Here, I already changed a couple of them because I have used the update version after February 2021. So previously, functional breakdown was volume, or for example, discipline was the role. So how can I do that? So you will go to Customize. You will go to, functional breakdown. And here's when you can edit it, etc. After you are happy with all those changes, you will click Save and Apply. So I already did that. And the next step will be to bring a file just to show you how the process works. So if I go to my, if I drag, in this case, I'm going to use a BIM execution plan. See if I can drag it. A second. No, I can use the upload file, that's fine. So it will come to this window. And here we can specify if it hasn't picked up from the name of the file all the parameters. In this case, this is a Word document. As you can see, I have picked up all the parameters. So we go the project name, the originator, which Microdesk, all the spatial functional breakdown, spatial breakdown, form, discipline, number. The only thing it has a pickup is the metadata information, such as status, revision, and classification. So I can go ahead and say this is suitable for coordination. That will be P01, for example. And classification, is using the Uniclass 2015, which is the classification we use here in the UK. I know this is a business execution plan, so if we do some filtering, that will give me the option. I click Upload. It will take a couple of seconds. And I say that's ready. So I'm happy with that. As you can see, now it's being allowed to the folder with all corresponding ISO 19650 information. So every model, every file that we drop into that folder and all the other folders that I have set up for this project, it will require ISO 19650 standards. We'll come back to this file later to do a couple of other workflows. Okay. Now we'll be jump into the design collaboration model. So the design collaboration model will allow us to, as its own words say, collaborate in a live way with another consultants, create package, and share those packages either in a weekly basis or really whatever we want to. So first things, if we get these three windows that we need to make some decisions, we will need to let them know when do we want to create our shared folders, if we want to set the default or create a new one. We will also have the option to do here, create a coordination space. This will help us for the model coordination model, which I will explain in a second. We will need to select the folder for the share. And after that, we will jump into the design collaboration settings. Here is where you can start creating your teams. So as you can see, I already created teams. I create architect, information manager, and structure. You can also, this is the best place where you can set up the permission for those disciplines. So not everyone can see everything. Just an example, I'm gonna go ahead and create the mechanical team. I could type the mechanical team here, but because I know I already create a folder on docs, I can use that folder to create the team itself. Allow me. work in progress, and go to mechanical and say add team. So as easy as that, that's how you create a team inside your design collaboration. That's created. Now, what I can also do is set up those permissions as I previously mentioned. So if we go into members, by default, and because I'm part of the information management and project admins for this project, so I got access to the folders, which makes sense. But I can also add either persons or teams here. So for this one, I want to add the mechanical team. I'm going to give it edit permissions. I'm going to add it there. So now every person that's added to the project with the training mechanical as a team will have access to this folder. It's a better way to do it that rather than on an individual basis. Okay. So after that, next step, it will be to use the Revit Cloud Work Sharing. So as we say, in order to use Revit Cloud Work Sharing, you will need to have the design collaboration module. Otherwise, you won't be able to use the service. And this is the way that Revit has to collaborate with another discipline in a live way. So how we do this? Just create. Give me just a second. Have a quick video to show that. In a second. Yeah. So it's really easy. We just go to collaborate inside Revit, collaborate in cloud, and then we just need to choose the right project, select the right file, the right folder, which will be, in this case, the architectural model. So inside work in progress architecture, make sure the name is the correct name and simply click save. So after that, our model will be work shared inside Revit and inside BIM 360. That leads us to the next step, which is how we're going to collaborate with another consultants or disciplines. So the platform gives us three options. Just gonna go all of them one by one. The first one, which is the one I don't recommend, is the one that's called high trust environment of live linking. So essentially, we're gonna link other consultants model directly from the work in progress model. The reason why I don't like, well, if we link from that model, every time they do an internal change, we'll be able to see that. And we might not want to see that because that will interfere in our design process, isn't it? So in order to avoid that, we got two options. The first one is media trust environment, which is control sharing from share. That means that first, the other consultant will need to create a package with that information and send it to us. And then we will get that information updated because we're gonna link, rather than the work in progress folder, we're gonna link from the share folder. And then if we want to put even another step, which is the one called low trust environment, control sharing from consume, it's the same as the video and trust one, but this time we have to even review the package before we have it in our consumer. So the other consultant will create a package, send it to us, we'll get the notification, we see it, we're happy with it, and we consume it. After we consume it, we will link from our consume folder. So how we create a package? So obviously first we need to create a package and then we will have to consume one. So the first step, how we create it? Really easy. We go back to the design collaboration. So here again, we are in design collaboration again, and we're in home. And here's the swim lane. So basically this is a timeline of your project. It will show you every time you create a package, every time you consume a package, every time another consultant share a package. So it's a really good way to track what's going on in your project. And how we create a package. So first, obviously, we need to be in our in our folder. So I'm acting as an architect now. Obviously, I can change between things because I got project admin permissions here. You won't be able to do that if you only are an architect. After we are in the architect's timeline, we simply go on the right side, click plus. Here, second, we will give in a date, for example, or you will need to follow whatever standards on your BIM execution plan you have for that project. So we go 21, 12, 13, happy with that. And then I will, that's fine. I will create and select the sets and models that I want to create for that package. So in this case, I'm sharing my architectural file. I click save. And then I click share. It will give me a nice view. And here I can say architecture work in progress or something in those lines. And that's how we just create a package. So the other way, so now we have create a package. Now what happens is someone create a package, how we consume it. So simple. Just gonna share a quick video. Similar process, we will use our timeline and we will see, as you can see there is a empty circle in a structure. So that means a package is ready to be consumed. We click on it. And what we can also do is share and check the previous version. So we can compare it before because we are reviewing it. We didn't just consume it. That's something that allows us to do, which is quite handy in my opinion. So we're gonna compare version 1 versus version 2, and we're gonna see what's been changed in the last one. As you can see, I can see here on the left side that nothing has been added, nothing been deleted, but 67 elements have been modified. So I can go ahead, get ahead and click on that, do a quick review of my model, see if I'm happy with that. I can see that's been modified, and then if I go to the individual element, I can see what happens. So yeah, on the right hand side, you can see that's been moved 2000 millimeters. So okay, so then I can make a decision of that. So I can say, okay, I'm happy with this, and go ahead and consume the package. So the way to do that is simply, we click the window now and close it, we click consume. After we click consume, we'll send that model into our consume package. Now we, after review that model, we have now update our model in our Revit file. The next step, I go back to my second. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I just explained that about the consume. So now we're gonna explain the approval workflow reviews. And this coming back to our ISO 19650 workflow. So before, as you remember, we drop our BIM execution plan in our information manager folder. And now that's obviously in our work in progress, so nobody has seen that. So now we want to send that into our publish so everyone can see it. So how we would do that? So we could use, this is it's not obviously the only method, but this is a method that can be used. We can use the approval workflow inside the unified platform. If we go to reviews, first we will need to set up a template. I already set up one. So as you can see here, I go from share to publish. If I go ahead inside there, you can see the settings from this specific one is just one step of verification. Then I can tell which person or companies or role can initiate it. In this case, I want companies, everyone inside those companies can initiate this workflow. After that, I can decide who is the final reviewer. In this case, it's going to be me, acting as an information manager. I can tell how many days I have to do it, in this case 3. Then I can check all the status. One means approve means approve, reject means reject, approve with comments. And also, I can tell if any file the review is approved, or I need to review all the files for that review itself. Also, I can tell which folder that model of file is going to be copied into, because it's a publish. I just choose publish. I can also allow the initiation to change the copy location. So if I want to be more specific, for example, so I want to move something inside publish, I can also do that. And then we just click save. If we back into docs, so now that we have set up our template, I can go into my work in progress, information manager, and click on my file, and the three dots here. I'm gonna submit it for review. After we do that, it's gonna come out with this window. I'm gonna asking us to select and approve our workflow. We're gonna select the one we just create from share to publish. It's gonna ask in which folder we want to save that model or copy that model. In this case, it's in publish, but I want to be a bit more specific. So I'm gonna copy into the publish folder, but inside into the information management inside publish, because I put that option. Review name, I can put just AVP approval, and then I simply click submit. That gives me with this window. If I want to notify another ones, I'm happy with that one. Actually, we can go ahead and say, okay, I want to notify Darren, I want to notify Chris, for example. I got that option. I can say ready to be reviewed. And set. Then every person who's been ready, it should be reviewed the approval, which is me, will get an email notification, or you can just go to review and you will see all the ones that you got open. So I see I got this one open, so I want to review that. I got the model. Obviously, I will review these documents. I don't have time now, but then say, okay, I will start the review. We'll give you this message, say start review, happy with that. And then go ahead and select, yeah, I'm happy with that, submit review. And say all good, or something on those lines. And click submit. So after I done that, what happens if that file copied from work in progress to from share folder into publish. So if I go directly in the link there, I'm going to publish, information manager, and here is my file. So yeah, as you can see, a good way to follow 19615 standard, something I use on the daily basis, and it works quite well for me. We're back now into our presentation. Now just quickly into model coordination. So again, with model coordination, we'll be able to perform class detection directly in the cloud. So if we're back to, so here, this will be here in model coordination. And here you can see all the models that are inside the share folder, because that's the folder we set up at the beginning. So say everything that is in share, it will appear here. And then you can select the models that you want. And for example, click view. That works. Let's close that. So, some issues. Let me see again. Okay, let's try again. Okay, for some reason it doesn't want to work now. It's no problem because I got something ready here to you guys. So yeah, so you can see I click my models. I can go into the model coordination view. I can save that view. So if I something that I'm gonna use on the daily basis, I don't want to do every time, I can just save that view so I can come back later. So in this time I'm gonna use architecture versus structure. So yeah, happy with that. I can use it as a private or publish. In this case, I will use just for myself. I will save that view. And then I can start playing with the tools. I can see, for example, all the issues that are being assigned. I also see the classes. So I can select my primary model, which in this case, I'm gonna select architecture against my structure. And then I can select group by. So we got by object, but we got also any parameter that I combine between both models. I can use it. For this time, I will keep objects. I will click just millimeters. And then I will start going through all my classes. For example, if I go to this one, it's a roof that is clashing with the floor. I can see this issue there. And then I can act based on that. So I can, okay, this is an issue. After I create my issue, I can start populating with, titles, any status, the type, the description. So at the moment, yeah, I keep it as an open. For this one, I'm gonna use it as a design issue, coordination issue. I keep the description as is, and I can assign it to the person I consider. So in this case, I'm gonna use Darren because he's part of the architecture team. I can also add watchers, so it's not gonna be assigned to that person, but they can be aware of what's going on. And then also the due date, start date. As you can see, I'm tracking my issues. I keep it on the same place. Again, we're talking about CDE, Common Data Environment, one source of truth, which is what we want to do when we're using BIM. I can add some comments as well. And yeah, so in that way, we create our issues. Easy as is. Okay, let's go back our presentation. We're almost finished now. Second. So yeah, now let's just look into the questions. If we go on. Yeah, feel free to ask any questions now. I don't have any questions at the moment, but we will wait a couple of minutes if you have any questions. Let's check the chat. If someone put something on the chat instead. No. Okay, I got a question here. 1 second. Yeah, actually, I got all the questions. Second, it's okay. Can you extract a report of changes? Yes, you can. So let me just show you that. So if I go back, I believe you are talking about in terms when another consultant share a model, so you will get to see those changes specifically. Yeah, that's a new tool that we have in the unified platform. So if we go inside design collaboration, I will go into changes. Here, we can add specifically items that you are interested in. So for example, as you can see here, I have add I'm interested myself on columns from the structural model. So 1 second, let me just close that. So if I want to create a new one, for example, I want to know what happened in the structural model. So I will select the model first. Just let it think a little bit. And now I can choose which item, specific items you want to track every time they share a new model. So for example, floors. Okay, so I save that. Next, and just put a naming convention there. I will just set the floor, something on those lines, and save it. So next week, I spelled that, but so next week when the structural team share this new model, if something has changed, I will see those changes there. Obviously now 0 because nothing has changed. I already set up one with columns, for example. I can see here, as you follow your question, that something 12 items designed as column, something has happened to them. How we can see this? So easy. So we go into the latest structure model. We click compare again. We make sure we are the latest one with the new version. And now here we will see all the changes that have happened on that model. But because now we set up that specific tool for either columns and for floors, if you go here you got watch changes. Here's where you can see all the changes that happened for those columns. So I got 12. That was the previous number we saw. And if we click on it, some reason it's not showing it now because there's a problem with the browser. But again, it's telling us that's been moved for 2000 millimeters. So yeah, so you can definitely track each individual element if you want. Okay, let's back with another question. If a package is created and shared, do the models container in the package automatically appears in the shared folder? Yes, so I'll show you that. If we go into design collaboration. So if I create a new package, that package will go directly to the shared folder. So that's the difference between use. If I go back to my slide here. So that's the difference between control sharing from share or control sharing from consume. If it's from share, when someone create a package, that go directly into the shared folder. And next time that you think update the model, you will get those changes. If you don't want to do that, it's better to use the consume package methodology, because in that way, when you first, we need to review the package before consume it. So you have to make the call, say, okay, I'm happy with those changes. After you click consume, that model will go not into the shell folder, we go into consume folder, and you will link those models for the consume folder. So if I go back to docs, so if you can see here, if you go into structure, for example, see, you have consume folder. Every time I consume something from architect, for example, see, it will show here. So that's how you need to decide which option is best for your team. Personally, if you ask me, I always go for the low trust environment. It's a bit weird that they call it like that because it feels like you don't trust the other discipline, but it's just a matter of putting another security control into that. So me as a discipline, as an architect, for example, I will always go and review the packages and then I will consume it. I'll make sure that my team has the correct information. So yeah, good question. Another question we have here. Can you obtain a class detection report from BIM Collaborate Pro, and do you need your own Navisworks license? First question, yes. Second question, if you Navisworks license. Technically, if you use model coordination in the cloud, you're not working with Navis. So I'll show you. Give me a second. Second, it's displaying. Just give me a second. There we go. So when you work, if you go to model coordination, yeah, when using this model are come directly from Revit. So technically, you're not using Navis here. You can actually open the model coordination tool inside Navis, but that's something will take just another webinar for itself. But yeah, in order to first go to report, yeah, if you go into reports, you will be able to just create 2 reports there and export all your classes. Absolutely, yeah. Hi, David. Thank you for a great presentation. Thanks, Anna. So, second, I missed that. Okay. Can you please show how to group classes in the coordination tool? Thanks. Yes. So, fun enough, we don't have to do much. Again, the model coordination tool, it won't be as detailing as working in Navis. So if you are a Navis user, you will see that you don't have Auto tool yet. Again, you can open directly those views into Navis. But answer to your question, Anna, if you go into the models, and if I'm gonna use I'm gonna use views, which I just create them. So I'm gonna use those 2. Just proving my point, so you don't have to create those views again. If that works, I'm just gonna keep reading this question. Doesn't seem to work. Yeah, it doesn't seem to work. Okay, as you can see, it's not loading now. But answer to your question, I mean, what I can do is open the video that I did before, so I can show you that. That's why I have my videos ready. So yeah, so when you have all your classes and show them there, everything that is grouped, for example, if you have a floor that is classing with 5 columns, it will do it for itself. So you can see you have a basic roof here that 4 classes between one other model. So it does it automatically for you. Apart from that, we don't have more options to group it by. So that's one of the main reasons. Like if you're an Navis user, you won't be able, like for example, or do sets or things like that yet. But what you can do again, you can go directly in Navis and open these views for it. So you don't have to download any Navis files and open it in Navis directly. You can use the cloud itself. So yeah, so in terms of what we can group or not, we can do much, but it do a good job by grouping itself. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if I miss more questions. I think we are wrapping up now. Thank you, that was excellent. Thanks, Annie. Can you start the report? Okay, I got another question from Robert. Hi, Robert. I work for architectural practice. How do I link architectural models into my Revit model? Yeah, so that's really easy to do. So just to, as a final question. So again, after you either use any method that I showed you before, either consume, share, anything inside your Revit model, it's as easy as you will need to go into you cannot do it from the sheet, so you go into any views. So you will go into manage. But here I am the architectural model, so I will be showing the linking of structure, but the workflow will be the same. So inside manage, you go manage links, and here inside Revit tab, you will choose to add from. So here, and because, for example, you already consume or share a package, you will see those models there. So let me just go back to one folder. So obviously you need to make sure that you pick up the right project, then go into project files. And this guy is going to use share, for example. I'm going to go into structure. I will link it there. Then here you have a couple of options, depends if you want internal origin to origin. I know this project is being set up by shared coordinates, so I will go ahead and go with shared coordinates. Yeah, so that's been loaded, and that's how you link it into your Revit model. Okay, share thing. Yeah, so I think I got most of the questions. Again, feel free to send us any questions. Oh, one second, last question. Let's do that one. Why not? We go 5 minutes. I saw you. It's a question from Andrea Davidi. I hope I spelled your name correctly. I saw you use companies to group user. Is there any other way to group? One second. Is there any way to? Oh, more question came out and a movie question. One second. Is there other way to group users for back managing, like assigning permissions? If I understand your question correctly, yes, short answer is yes. So if I understood right your question, if you go back to our platform, you could add a lot of members, let's say for a spreadsheet, directly in the account admin. So if you do it here, and you go to members, and you go, yeah, that will be inside BIM 360. So as you can see, now I'm gonna go back into the current platform. So some of the options are still on the other platform. So if I go rows, so again, still in the same project, but for this question that you asked me, it needs to be done in the previous platform. So here you will be able to add by a bulk, so you can add more a lot of members with a spreadsheet rather than individual basis. So that's an option. But then just to, if it's not what you were asking, if I just come back a second, I go to, yeah, that one. Oh, that one. If I go to project admin, design collaboration, just in case that's what you mean, inside design collaboration, if you go to settings, you could also add here by role, companies, or individual names. So yeah, if you could do that individually as a company or individual name, and this is at the teams level. Then inside docs, if you want something really specific, for example, you share architectural folder, you could also set up some permissions there. So this is something, again, I won't recommend to do it, because if you start playing around with this inside here, but yeah, something that can be done. Yeah, I hope I answered your question. Thanks, Roy. Okay, so I think we're wrapping up now. Yeah, I hope, guys, that you take something from today, and feel free to reach out to us. Let me just put the email there. So, okay. Oh, let's start with the slides now. There we go. Yeah, feel free to reach out to us, and we're more than happy to help with any question that you have more in depth. Again, this is in an hour, we cannot tell everything, but yeah, definitely go ahead and drop us an email. And like Melissa said at the beginning, we'll be uploading this session to our website and YouTube channel. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Thanks very much.